Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Institute for Peace and Justice, and welcome to our first conversation with our Woman Peacemaker for 2015, Judge Najla Ayoubi from Afghanistan. The Women Peacemakers program, for those of you who aren't so familiar with it, has been running for 13 years. It was started 13 years ago by our director, Dieka, and in that time we've welcomed 52 women from 36 countries around the world. Women peacemakers come from conflict zones where they've been building peace and advocating for human rights for many, many years. And they come here to document their stories, to document their peace-building practices, and to share those with so many of us through the work that the peace writers do with them, documenting. So we're very lucky to have 3 other peacemakers with us this year, and I'd just like to point them out in the audience. There's Galia Golan from Israel. Galia, can you stand up? Thank you. We have Glenda Wilskett from South Africa. And we have Pauline Dempers from Namibia. And each Galia and Glenda and Pauline will each be having their own conversation in the coming weeks. So please do come along to those. They're going to be fascinating. If you go to our website, you can register there. So now we have Najla. What we'd like to do is start off by asking some questions to Najla about her life and what makes her stand out as a peacemaker. And then we're going to follow with Najla's presentation about some work that she feels so passionate about, the work that she's been doing in Afghanistan and what the current situation there is, particularly with regards to women and the challenges they're facing with security and extremism in her country. So,
I'm ready.
Najla, I've had an opportunity to read some of the narratives that have been coming from your peace writer, Gabrielle, and I was hoping you can share with the audience today your family life and the influence it's had on who you are today.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy and very delighted to be here, particularly among the academics and among the community. And I can see the enthusiasm among the audience. That thank you for interest, particularly for Afghanistan. Actually, I'm looking at a Claire face, and she knows how much I'm an energetic person, and I'm laughing a lot, although I have so much problem in my life, particularly back home. But still, I'm trying to just, with a smile and with a happy face, welcome whatever comes to me, and welcome people. Thank you so much for this interesting question. How I could say, today I was talking to Gabrielle about some of the very detailed part of my life, and when I'm not a good cook. I was not a good cook, but I'm a very good cook now. Which sometimes my father was, without knowing that I did the cooking, he was kind of indirectly screaming because he didn't like that type of food, and that type of food, when I was making it, was so bad, and he didn't like it, and I was making it very bad. That's why he was kind of a little bit screaming. But coming to, I born in a family where my father was educated and my extended family members were educated. My mom is not educated, she's illiterate, but still she has a very high level of political knowledge and social knowledge. I got lots of support. We all, I have, we are 4 sisters, 2 brothers, big family. Not big family in Afghanistan context, but here, of course. What we have got lots of support from our family, because the key point for raising children in our family through my parents was education was the key. And that was the base for why I'm here. First of all, because there were opportunities that I had through the support of my family, particularly having my father on the back of us, supporting us, give me more opportunity in my siblings to be where we are now and work and choose the field that we are working now. That was the main, part of my life, which I never had the experience of not practicing my rights within my family. I'm the luckiest woman, probably the most luckiest woman in Afghanistan, because I have such a family environment that I can choose to work and I can choose to study. Even I can quote one of my father thoughts that when I was selected for the a scholarship going to the Soviet Union. I did it by myself. I applied. Actually, I was selected, and then I agreed, and then I came to my father and I said, okay, I have been selected to this scholarship, and I think I wanted to go. What is your thoughts? I can just see his face. He said, okay, for education, even if you're going to travel to the Mars, go ahead. This was what I have a memory from my father, who unfortunately has been assassinated by Islamists. He was terrored, he was killed. And then my brother, who was also a very good support, although he was younger than me, but he was also kind of kidnapped, missing, and then kind of disappeared, was killed. We heard that he was killed also. But still, the path that we have chosen because of the support, and particularly me, the level of support that I got from my family, always my father and my mother was standing behind us, confronting any type of social, limitations, social barriers, and always they were encouraging us to move forward and to the field where we are happy with and work with. Which now I'm so happy that I'm trying to, at least that time, many children, they didn't have this type of opportunities, which I have. And why not using opportunity in a more healthy and positive way?
Thank you, Najla.
10 minutes?
So, for those of you who may have come to our panel last week, you might have noticed that Najla always carries her pen with her.
Yeah,
it has a kind of special role in your life, Najla. Can you tell us about that?
First of all, if you take my pen, I will be maybe for 5 minutes, I will be silent because I won't be able, I don't have that courage to talk, to speak. This is my language, actually. This is my tongue. That's why, because I learned, this helped me a lot. And that's, I think, it's metal for me. It's the mountains. It's the strength of the mountains, the strength of metal, the strength of, I don't know, gold, whatever you describe, it's good for you. You can describe it, but this is everything for me, which I will go to another point, which is very interesting. And the only person knows the Gabrielle. She knows that. My mother was 13. She got engaged, and then when my father went to ask, this is the tradition, this is arranged marriage. And then when she went to my father family, asking my mother, my mother uncle was educated person. He asked my father, what you have? What you have? I mean, what resources you have, what is your economic situation, and all of this. And what my father said, he showed this pen to him and said, okay, the only thing I have is pen. Although he had everything, but the message that he passed was very strong enough to tell them, okay, you know, I have this one, and if you are agree, then you can agree to give me your daughter. And then finally they got married, and this is how I'm maybe genetically I'm connected to the pen.
Najla, I think we have another pen story. So early on in your career as a judge, you were offered a bribe. Can you share with us that story?
Yeah, this pen have lots of stories actually, you know, in my life, and played lots of stories. I was sitting in a court working on particularly on the commercial issues those days, because due to lack of, although I'm a criminal lawyer and I'm a criminal judge, but because of the lack of capable personnel in the court, I had to move from one section to another and work on different cases in different fields. The guy came to me. I had to sign the letter, and I know that guy. When I can see his face. He came and he asked me. Although I was kind of my boss, he was on holiday, and he asked me to replace him while he's away. And I didn't know, this was the first time I could see that somebody can give money to somebody to do something. He asked me to, okay, can you just sign? Because I had to sign off the documents to go. And suddenly he came, and I was looking for my pen, and then suddenly he gave me a pen, which I saw that the pen is unusual. It's kind of the size, I mean, when I touch it, because I was just looking like this, and then suddenly I saw that it's kind of something else. And then what he did, he rolled the money around the pen, and then we call it kalamana, which is, you know, this is the gift because I don't know how to explain it in English, but this is something this is the way how you can give them. And I said, okay, what is it? He said, this is for you. And I said, okay, what is this? Because I could see the money. And then he said, this is for you. And I said, okay, okay. I already signed because with my pen, and I asked him, okay, can I get the documents because I forgot something within the document. And he gave back the documents to me. And I said, out. You know, and finally that was the case when he went to my father, because my father was a prominent person in my province. That's why he went to my father and asked him, okay, can you just talk to your daughter, because he's not working now on my case, and he's not giving my case to be processed. And at the same time, can you tell her that to be not violent? And how you can see the bribe, somebody is giving you a bribe, and not be kind of, I mean, I was really rude. I know that I could give him advice, but I was too young. I was too young to cope that situation, because the way I grew up is totally different environment, being honest, being, you know, following the rules. This was the main.
And there's another layer to that story. Can you share with us what the case was that he was wanting to bribe you about?
This was actually, you know, there was very difficult for the people to get the license of what it's called, the people who are dealing with the trades, trading abroad, business, yeah. That's why this was very difficult for the people if they could not approve themselves, particularly their basis of the business and all of these. That's why they had to come. And I didn't know that my boss was doing this, taking that money and he was just signing. And this was the first time I discovered about him. And this was the first time I thought, okay, this is the reality. That's why our thought with Gabrielle is also that, okay, theory is beautiful, but not the practice.
Thank you, Najla. So, can I invite you now to share your country with our guests? So, Najla, we have like a fairly lengthy presentation. It's fascinating, but we wanted to give the audience a chance to ask questions sort of halfway through, so you don't have to hold on to your questions till the very end. So we're going to give you 2 opportunities to ask questions, about 15 minutes in. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to talk about the security extremism in Afghanistan and also how are regional dynamics impacting women. And you see already you have got the... first of all, before going to the ugly part of the war and ugly part of the situation, I would like to just show you a few pictures of Afghanistan, how beautiful Afghanistan is. And in one of the pictures, I'm very biased because I put my city, particularly where I'm living, and I will show you, hopefully. I would like to just invite you to that. If you think that you need an explanation to the pictures, just let me know. Otherwise, you can enjoy the beauty. This is the fall in Afghanistan. This is on the top of the mountains. There is 5 lakes on the top of mountains that it's very difficult to reach to that. You see the snow that we are enjoying the 4th season. We feel the 4th season in Afghanistan, which in other places like California, you cannot feel the 4th season. That's why I'm really missing snow now, because it's snowing in Afghanistan. This is a very historic from, we call it Qalai Bakhtaruddin. It's in Herat. It's very, very, very ancient castle. This is Ali Shrine, and everybody knows this is very famous, and all of them are made by hand. It's just beautiful. This is also, we call it Masjid Jami Herat, which is the Jami Mosque of Herat. It's also very ancient, big, with all of these beautiful, what it's called, architecture. I'm biased in this picture. This is I have to show maybe here. I'm living here, just here. You see the mountains, you see the valley, it's big. And this, I'm just explaining because you see that from where I'm coming. I born here. And every morning I could smell the smell of these flowers. It's natural flowers. It just can be on the top of these hills and mountains. I grew up in this province, but now people are going to picnic here, but it's still unsafe. That's why I said I'm biased in this picture. Thank you. Now to the ugly part of the situation. I'm sure that you can see Afghanistan and you can read the level of high risk. This is just 2 days back. The report was released by United Nations Assisted Mission in Afghanistan. You can see that how much the part of the country are still at high risk. See, the red is high risk of falling apart or falling or collapsing. Then substantial, which is Kabul is involved in my provinces. You see that part is, and also some part of the south and southeast is also involved, and extremely risky, which is these black colors. Whites are more peace, kind of relatively peaceful, but you see those are where you have to reach to them and cross all of these other places. And today we have, this is 2 days we have between Herat, which is in the east of Afghanistan, west of Afghanistan, west of Afghanistan. I'm confused with the west and east. In Kandahar, in Ghazni province, and there is fight going on now, and this is 2 days that the highway is blocked, and one of our human rights defender also assassinated yesterday, unfortunately. Current situation, I would like to just talk about what is going on now. First of all, in 9th of August, Kabul was, maybe this was the most, actually after the withdrawal, the situation got a little bit worse. But on August 9th, we had a huge explosion in Kabul, which lost 500 injuries and death, and millions of dollars. People were sleeping, and that's why most of them were sleeping, and they killed and they injured. This was the biggest attack in Kabul in 2015. Kunduz province, I'm sure that you have read the news, and particularly we don't have estimation of how many people have been killed or injured in Kunduz, because we don't know, because this is the back and forth control going to the government and also to Taliban. But at the same time, I have some estimation of the refugees or IDPs, which they displaced from the province. It's more than 20,000 people, 20,000 families. Also, the damages also, of course, it's millions of dollars. Most of the government institutions are not exist. International organizations, local NGOs, and everything has been damaged, and everything have been taken away. Also, the hospital, the MSF, which is Doctors Without Border, also is another. According to UNAMO report, which is just 2 days ago released, that they are saying that now Taliban spread through more of Afghanistan than of any point since 2001. UNAMA already evacuated in the past 2-3 days, evacuated 13 office of his presence and 13 office staffs of UNAMA from the country, because this is, they call it an emergency, and that's why. Also, freedom of speech. Unfortunately, 2-3 days back, I think it was Sunday or Saturday, I can't remember, because I'm just dreaming and I cannot sleep well. My sister office was attacked. One of her office was attacked in Jalalabad, and everything was damaged. There's nothing to operate because the ISS took the responsibility, and then they said, okay, because the reason was because they were warning them before, because of producing broadcasting some of their messages, which they denied, and that's why they attacked them. And also yesterday, the Taliban gave a statement that 2 of our very popular international TV channels, which is private, both of them are private, TV1 in Tolo, both of them are under the military strategy of Taliban to be attacked. Lack of political willingness also from the unity government is also another issue that we are facing. Who are the main victims? Of course, women, particularly in Kunduz. Most of the women were, when they were entering, there was exception, kind of before when they came into power, when I was under their rule. There was kind of, they were selective on assassinating people. But now they're not selective anymore. They're just entering to the house, beheading, even they're putting the bombs on the chest of the people, they're putting them on the fire, any type, children, women, raping women, killing children, beheading, all of these are happening like to the very high level of extreme. Um, Another point that I would like to mention, jihadis are really now trying to arm most of their people in the country because they think that they have lots of, they see that there are two type of threats coming to them, to the country, particularly ISIS and Taliban. People are arming, which I got this from my brother. Yesterday I was talking and he said, okay, everybody is just trying to arm their own people, particularly the warlords and the jihadists. It means we are going to not, God forbid, that we are may entering to another civil war, which will be, I don't think it's civil war, but I will come to that. Putin also, President Putin also announced that he is going to raid north of Afghanistan, which I can see that it's also another point that is what is called elaborating or supporting or complementing the situation in Afghanistan. And also Daesh, or we call it Daesh, and which is ISIS, they're recruiting soldiers in the east of Afghanistan a lot. As well as as I mentioned earlier, that we have lots of, particularly the victims are women, children, innocent people, civilians or more. That's the issue. In this current situation, who are the main actors? As I can see that I can see internally there are Afghan security forces, which is Afghan National Army, Afghan National Police, National Democratic Department of Security, and also local police, and also NATO security, because I'm talking internal because they are official entities. Community police, which we call it Arbaki, and also VIP bodyguards. All of ministers have 10 or even from 10 to 50 people escorting them daily. Member of parliament, all of these VIP people. That's why it's definitely inject to the situation of being unstable. Also, internal and external actors on the other side, which is Taliban, ISIS, Haqqani network, which is they're very connected. Raihana Jan, you were here, and Rukhsana Jan. They're very highly connected with Pakistan intelligence service. Hizb ut-Tahrir, which is the new phenomena for Afghanistan. We never had this, and this is coming all from the Central Asian countries. I don't know, it's just everything is there. Drug lords, unfortunately, there is also lots of weapon, or they're dealing with a weapon. And you know, opium is we are at the illegal armed groups also. There are illegal armed groups that coming from the background of jihadists, or some of the people who even they gone through the disarmament process, but still they are receiving in new actors are coming, particularly international actors, and they are giving them weapons. Al-Qaeda, of course. Yesterday I was thinking who else left, but I thought, okay, Al-Qaeda, we are forgetting Al-Qaeda. And that's why I think these are also these are actors. External actors, the bigger actors, you see I'm just not naming particularly, I will focus on Russia and US. And I can see because of the involvement, and yesterday I was reading an article, I'm sure that you have read also. This is in New York Times, I guess, which now there is a debate in the US to keep 50,000 troops. I guess, if I'm not misunderstood, because I didn't have proper sleep because of a friend that she was assassinated and all of other things. And what I'm seeing here between Russia and US, there is another, always I'm calling it the proxy war, which is, I think it's a new great game of superpowers going on. That's why, you have to create a cause to stay there. Or if another one is staying, then you have to create a cause to be there also. It's just kind of, you're at the middle. Who loses? We people. I'm going to, particularly on the negative part, you will see, just going to play a video here, and I'm sure that you see how I was describing and where we may go.
روزگار وحشت و سیاهی، روزگار آتش و خون. ما توانستیم آن دوران را پشت سر بگذاریم، آن دوران وحشت و سیاهی، آن روزگار آتش و خون. روزهای امید و شادی آغاز شد. آیا دوباره به وحشت و جنگ باز می‌گردیم؟ نه، هرگز ما به گذشته بر نمی‌گردیم. هرگز. ادامه راه دشوار است، اما با ایمان قوی به خداوند، شجاعت و همت سربازانمان و وحدت ملتمان ما می توانیم.
The main message of this video is that we were ruled by Taliban. We have the experience of Taliban, and then we moved this showing after the collapse of Taliban how we were achieving so many good things, and then back to that situation, and then showing more Afghan security forces and Afghans that we can do. It says that we can do. We are not going back to those eras. It means that the main message is that people people don't want to just join the Taliban or let them to become. But sometimes you think there are so many different hands that they're playing games that it's very difficult. But anyways, if you have on that part questions, I will be happy to respond, and then maybe we can go to the...
So if you have a question, we have a microphone for you that we'll be passing around. If you just raise your hand and just let us know your name and where you're from.
I have a loud voice. How are you protecting the beautiful artifacts you were showing at the beginning of your presentation?
Mm-hmm. So the question is, how are you protecting the beautiful artifacts that Najla showed at the beginning of her presentation?
In the past 15 years, actually most of them were damaged, and most of them were with the support of international community, Afghan communities. Most of them are renewed and was protected, and we don't know actually now. You see the beauty, all of them are now, this is the current pictures of those places, particularly the historical places. But still, if we have a good security, of course, if we have a peace, there will be definitely a very great strategy. Now we are just thinking about the strategy, how to survive. Among all of these actors, we don't know what will happen. Because this happened to Syria, and all of the ancient history gone, and also in the Iraq and Syria, and we don't know what will happen to us. People are really struggling to survive now.
And you mentioned, Najla, there were 20,000 IDPs. internally displaced people as a result of the conflict in Kunduz. What's happening to them and what's happening to the other regions in Afghanistan or the other countries in the region? Where are they going and how is that impacting the situation?
I think this is probably, I don't know how, I don't have the estimate percentage of how many Syrians are leaving their country or Iraqis, but I think Afghans are in the past 35 years were on the top of the number of refugees leaving the country. And I think now most of these families are spread in Kabul. They came to Kabul and neighboring provinces, IDPs, and most of them are just leaving the country. It's so difficult, and particularly when I will talk about when it comes to the regional dynamics, then I will talk about how the situation and how how much we're losing actually, you know, and how much the other people have to cope, other countries and other neighboring countries who are receiving the immigrants, how much they can cope with the culture, with the needs, and with all of these.
My name is Saul Snyder from San Diego. What is the Haqqani network?
Oh, okay. I will just question by question, it's good. Haqqani network is also another extremist Islamic network that they established. They are between Afghanistan and Pakistan. They're moving, sometime if Pakistan, they flee from Pakistan, or if there is not good sanction for them, Pakistan, they're moving to Afghanistan. But basically they remain in Pakistan and they're supporting most of the extremist groups back in Pakistan, and particularly producing as extremists to come to Afghanistan. Of course, Islamist extremists, we call it violent extremists. These are those people that ideologically, I think they're sick. I can say that because, you know, the Islam that I know doesn't say anything that they are doing. That's why I think their ideology is sick, and maybe their way of thoughts is sick, and that's why they have a very high level of influence in the area where we are sharing the border. You saw the picture on the map of Afghanistan. The longest border we are sharing is with Pakistan, and that's why we are more unstable from Pakistan, and we are receiving most of these. Support from the Islamist extremists from Pakistan coming to Afghanistan.
You have here poisoning girls' schools. Are you talking about poisoning with ideas or actual poison?
Actual poison.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like in Herat, we had, I think this was 2-3 weeks back, or maybe a month ago. Every day the different schools were poisoned, and hundreds of girls were hospitalized because people are we don't know which type of chemical poisoning stuff they're using, the water and the air. We don't know, and they're the only thing that they're targeting girls' schools.
Hello. My name is Aurora Buick, and I'm a China program director for an organization working in criminal justice. So I was wondering, you said you were a criminal judge, and given the level of violence, I'm wondering what's happening currently with the regular criminal justice system. Is it still able to function?
You know, I had another map to talk about, but you know, because of the limitation of time and having all of these complexity around, it's also difficult to bomb the information to the audience. On that map, in most of the cases where government have control over the district or over the province, they have particularly the courts that they are functioning. And criminal justice, to be honest, maybe sometimes when I'm thinking or when I'm talking, it's just all bad things happening. And because of the bad system and the corrupt system, it's also very difficult to implement the laws that is there. You know, in most of the cases, you see someone is killing, like I will talk about another case of social extremism, how the lady was killed and burned and was attacked on the street. And then none of the perpetrators are, I mean, there was some noises and the staff and that gone, and we don't know where she got the justice because of the corrupt system. And the only thing that you can, even I was very young, the people were giving me rolling and the pen, giving me the bribe, and now people are just this is for them privilege to get bribe. You know, it become a kind of they're proud to get the bribe. Where in my time when I was in a court, it was shame, and it was shameful for the people to get the bribe. Now things has been changed, you know.
Hi, my name is Bahar Davari, and I teach in the Department of Theology and Religious Studies here at USD. My question is regarding the short video that you showed at the end. Since I may be the only other person who understood the words here besides yourself in this room, just to summarize, it was talking about the horrors that Afghanistan has gone through and that women and men have gone through, and then a kind of jubilation with the coming of Karzai and other presidential people in power. Now, towards the end, my question is, was this a political ad to, in a way, unite all of the Afghan forces, military and civilians, to fight ISIS? And then is there a significance that the last words were Obama's motto, basically, yes, we can?
Actually, one thing that we are lacking to receive enough motivation. Our national security forces, they really lacking to receive the motivation messages from the government or from the nation. This is a kind of advertisement, actually, that they are showing to the Afghan national security forces that we are with you, and you were the one that we have gone through all of these in the past, and now we are organizing ourselves, and we are the one to not let anything to happen again or go back to those dark days. That's something that it's saying. It's a kind of moral support for the Afghan security forces, because I'm not supporting this, the military way of solution from the military perspective. But still, when there is a fight going on, naturally, your identity comes first, because you are an Afghan and you want support the one who is really supporting you. And that's why even on my Facebook, you see that I'm changing my profile picture. Instead of Najla, I'm putting one of these soldiers' pictures, This is something that we see that you can motivate them how to defeat the innocent people. That's something that this is a kind of advertisement, what it's called, clip, that it's motivating Afghan national police and other people that we have gone through all of these processes, and now there is also another threat coming or another risk, how we can keep going on or how we cannot let to happen to us. I hope you got, yeah?
Okay, we'll take one more question and then we'll move on and hold on to those other ones for oh, look at all those hands come up. Okay, let's take one from this side of the room. We've been top heavy over here. Do we have off you go, Karen. Just the middle green row. And then we'll move on and we'll have more time for questions at the end, so keep those ones in mind.
Hi, my name is Leslie. I'm a student here at USD. And previously you mentioned several actors like ISIS, Taliban, Al-Qaeda that were acting in Afghanistan right now. And I was wondering which one of those actors do you think poses the most immediate threat and risk to Afghanistan right now? What should we be worried about most, I guess, is my question.
That's clear, Taliban and ISIS. Very clear. And we have others are contributing to their work. It's not only, if you unstable one district, then the other will come and use that opportunity and sometimes it happens that very small group, they're coming and they're destabilizing or just they're doing something in the province or in the district even in the village, and then the bigger players are coming and they're filling the vacuum. That's the big problem. But still, the Daesh and the Taliban, they become more extreme. And Taliban were, I'm telling you, because I was under the Taliban regime for 5 years, and I could see that there were brutalities, there were lots of, but the level of brutalities and extremes that we can see, the violent extremes that we can see now, it never happened. That level never happened during their own regime.
So that's a perfect segue.
Yeah, okay. I think this is where I think it's, I'm talking about extremism in Afghanistan and how the extremism impacted, or which I already talked to you, very rightly put the question. Actually, I was thinking there are of course, other type of extremism that you all know theoretically, or it depends to the context and relate to the context or differs from one context to another one. Mainly in Afghanistan, we face the religious extremism, which is I already talked about several actors who are playing which role, and particularly these people are really coming in. I think it was 2009. 2010. I was the author of one of the surveys that was each year they're publishing from the Asia Foundation Afghanistan. We were asking people that time, and you can see how the youth population are getting radicalized. And these extremist groups or religious extremist groups, that they are the one that they are trying to, as much as they can, radicalize the youth population, because Afghanistan have 60 to 70% of its population is youth between age of 15 to 25. That's why it's a very good ground for them to abuse this on their benefit. At the same time, one of the things that I already mentioned, maybe it's good that we were experiencing extremism, but the violent extremism was in certain level, which now it's beyond even imagination, because they're just I was thinking to put the video in. That's why I thought, no, I don't want it to. I'm sure that you will go to the YouTube and you will see it. But the level that they are killing people, particularly in one of the, I can't remember which year it was, I think 2011, 12, we had a guy who was member of Taliban. He came with the Afghan National Security Forces dress. He dressed that, and he entered to the bank, to the just ordinary bank, and he just start shooting people. Like 42 people were, and the camera was cutting him, and it was so difficult to see the children, the men, women, everyone. You see that there was no one instead of civilians. And you can see that how that guy, and he's asking, come. And the people are poor people, they cannot do anything because he has the weapon. And then he's just shooting one by one, like people cannot do that to the animals. I mean, even in the wild, you cannot do that. That's something that we really have received the violent extremism in a very high level. Particularly in these two cases of what it's called Kunduz. We heard lots of stories, but most of them. That's why this was one of the reasons. I will come to that. How which I already mentioned about the two TVs, that they were reporting most of the brutalities that they were doing. That's why now they're under the threat themselves, because they said that, okay, you will be just watching yourself. Even when the people are even coming and going to these TV channels, they have to watch themselves. It means that now the media is under the attack because they were reporting all of those incidents. Another point that there are actors which maybe it's good to name them, particularly when I'm talking about the proxy wars, because Saudi Arabia and Pakistan is supporting Sunnis in Afghanistan, and also Iranians are supporting Shias in Afghanistan. And that's why you see that although we don't have any problem, we are living side by side, and we accept each other. We never had that sort of sectarian problem or sectarian conflict in Afghanistan, which now we can see that people are injecting, our neighbor countries are injecting these ideas that, okay, you're the majorities, you're the minorities, they have this, you don't have that. That's why I can see that the sectarian, or what is called sectarian, or it is sectarian, I guess. Sectarian extremism also going to be coming to this under the religion, which again, it's just so difficult to understand. Although our leaders, thanks God, that they are just trying to advise people don't go to that direction, which, relatively we are okay, but if they know that they find a strategy how to put this conflict really put together, then I'm sure that this is another issue. I would like to also talk about the ethnic and language. Most of the people on the religion one, actually, they're looking at the ideology. Mainly, they wanted to prove their ideology through an extreme, violent or extremist way, which in most of the cases you see that that's not ideology of Islamic ideology. That's something else. It's not Islam that it's asking people to kill. But on the other hand, we have ethnic and linguistic extremism, which people are just because of their identity, because they were discriminated in the past, or some people are still have kind of self-humiliation. I'm sure that you understand what I'm saying, because some people, although they are in the power, but still they think that they are they need more, particularly to prove their identity or be stronger, at the same time gaining the power. That's something that in these two cases, they are bringing the language sometime onto the table or on the agenda, and sometimes the ethnicity. These two are very, very, it's a very difficult to, even for our new generation, for educated people, they are taking a side. Sometimes you think, okay, that's okay. Maybe you can work later on that. But still, if you're doing and if you're thinking the same way, then you're contributing to this process. Also, we have social extremism, which in social extremism, most of the time, our neighboring countries, I'm sure, Rayhana Jan, you will just see me how I'm putting the examples. I don't know if Nushin John is here. But two things that it's very important that to weakening our nation, our neighbors, particularly Iran and in some level Pakistan, they're also trying to, the refugees that they are living in these two countries, Afghan refugees, they're making them addicted to the opium and send them back to Afghanistan. We had, before war, we had maybe 100,000 people were addicted to opium and to the drug or heroin. Now we have 3 million. And you see that how strategically and systematically our neighboring countries who who want, a very good market for their opium or for their product or for any type of product that they are producing, weakening a nation that they will not be able to stand on their own feet. That's one point. Another point, that limitation of movement from one part of, because of, I mentioned about the, how the social, when the situation is getting worse or the security getting worse, then the families, particularly the men, like in my family, no one goes out anymore. The movement is just stopping because of the people who would like to, or maybe who are tending to abuse these circumstances on their own benefit. Another case that's very interesting on Farkhunda, which is, I'm sure that everybody knows Farkhunda, who was a lady, and she was blamed that she burned the Holy Quran, and then the angry men on the street, which they don't, I don't know, they're not Islam, even they don't know how to say their kalimas or how to read or how to pray. But still, they were beating her to death, and then they put her under the car, and then after that, they put her body on the fire. This is the level of intolerance to a particular issue, which I can see it's a kind of mix of religion extremism or ideological extremism plus the social extremism. From that time, to be honest, I'm just serious. I was just trying to just be very calmly walking on the street, or if I was dealing, because you never know. People will just point the finger on you and you're gone. And people don't understand. That's the level of how suppression is happening. Another case is poisoning girls, which I mentioned already. In Takhar, there was cases in Takhar, and also throwing acid on the face of women, particularly those who are working or going to the school. It's just, there are so many, besides of what I have described about all of these problems that we have, these specific problems are more, women are vulnerable, because from the social perspective, I don't know, we are on that, which level of position in the society, because people think that we are secondary or third level citizens. Before going to the, I was thinking to show you another clip about how women were in Afghanistan, and then how we became disempowered, kind of, not we, but as a whole, I'm talking. I would like to just talk about the regional dimension, how the situation, extremist groups, and all of these wars and proxy wars or proxy powers are impacting at the regional level. First of all, we have seen from Pakistan, I already mentioned that Pakistan, mainly from Afghan government and us, the citizen, not the citizen of Pakistan, of course, they are the people of Pakistan, because we have a very strong feeling, a good relationship with the people, but the government, they are in the extremist groups in Pakistan. We call the Pakistan father of Taliban, because they were the one with the support of US, of course, that time. They established and they created Taliban. Which later, now, I think this was maybe, I don't know, after the 2002, 2003, the Taliban gone back to Pakistan, and they started to attack Pakistan, which was their father. It means that how the conflict is moving from one country to another one, and particularly within the region. And also some of the cases we have seen in Central Asian countries, our neighboring, like Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and also Turkmenistan, Iran, China, of course. There are extremist groups in China now. They're growing their communities. this is what I was trying to say, particularly on the training side, the training centers to train extremist groups within these madrasas, we don't have a very organized madrasas, or madrasas, which is the religious training centers or religious schools. We don't have a very, with the quality, of course, the Pakistan don't have it, but still Afghans were not, didn't have a choice to not send their little children to study religious studies. Then instead of studying religious studies, they're coming suiciders, they're coming extremists, they're coming, I mean, you know, just totally different person, because they're very young and they can be easily brainwashed. Another point that I was going to say that is the culture of violence, as I mentioned, that it's just also moving, particularly from Afghanistan to Pakistan, from Pakistan to Afghanistan, from Pakistan to Iran now, and Iran to Afghanistan. So many things has kind of become more complicated. And again, what I'm saying is in all of these complexity, which I can see is the women and children and the innocent people, civilians are a victim. See how Afghanistan was and where we are now. This is about women. It's a big question mark. Okay, this was a very interesting question that even on the clip. Can we put women back, and how are women placed in all of these situations? As I mentioned, we have been victims, but still, one of my arguments always is, because maybe I'm a lawyer and I'm maybe, I don't know, I'm strong enough and I'm very independent, probably. But still, most of the women have been pushed to the soft work rather than being at the decision-making level, at the hard work, which is men think that this is their world, or this is the main field, which is military or maybe peace processes, politics, and all of these. Mainly, as you saw, that Afghans, particularly Afghan women, were very active on education, health, human resources, particularly human rights, and also women's rights and NGOs. And even in Afghanistan, the perspective is that in most of the cases that when the woman deciding to go to the school of engineering, the people say, why you're going, the family particularly, or the society, why she's studying engineering? And when you are asking why not, and you know, the engineering is not the woman field. I mean, even see the stereotype thinking towards the woman ability to work in certain fields. Also, at the same time, I would like to just bring your attention to the increase of violence against women who have been very high, rape even at the very age of. I had another clip. I wish I had that one also, but that clip is also when I was arguing with one of the parliament member who was also an extremist group and I was questioning him, what is even now, all of this happening, there is no statement from the Ulama Council, from the Ulama, association, to at least to claim that all of this happening, it's not Islamic. But when they see that a little bit part of my hair will be visible from my scarf, then they say, okay, she's not Muslim. You know, they are attacking you easily. Like, you know, they are blaming you like very, very easily. They're putting you in a very different circumstances or very bad situation. That's why I think everybody is just trying to just abuse the power, the authority, their place and position in the society, mainly against the women, which I think women always have been kind of a disturbing what is called a disturbing element in the mind of, or a disturbing person, what you call it, people, in the mind of any politician in Afghanistan, anyone who came in there, even in the US, I'm sorry. Because Afghanistan was attacked, or intervention happened in Afghanistan because of the women's rights in Afghanistan in 2002. And now you see that so many things happening if no one is talking about it, even in the US. And my expectation as an Afghan woman and looking at such a democratic society or liberal society, how we can get that support from the people here. If I'm just talking and I'm leaving this room and you will take some information and 10 days, you will be forgetting it. And then what is the connection? Where we connect with each other, where we can support each other. I know that this was my responsibility, which I already put this information in our situation here. What we all can do to at least protect or to at least to support the situation in a positive way, to change the lives of the people. I think this is the big question that it's coming. And also we have lots of other problems confronting these religious extremists, which is, I think, I will let the rest to be, you will question. Thank you.
Thank you, Najla. So, where's Kara's got the microphone? Who has questions? Over here, Kara, this side with the woman in the blue T-shirt. I know you've been waiting a while.
Thank you. My name is Frances Reed. I'm from Northern California, actually. I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit more on the function of rape as a function of war and how that's playing out. You talk about women being targeted, especially right now, but specifically, what is the history of the culture of rape in Afghanistan, and how has that been changed as it becomes a function of war? And are there particular extremist groups that are implementing rape more as a function of war, I guess?
Very interesting question. I think, to be honest, I have a kind of mixed feeling of the society that treating me. Some case you see the respect and the low level of brutality for women, which was the case earlier. And even you saw that in 1965, which I was not born, but still in 1990, I was walking like these ladies on the street. And no one would bother you because the level of education was very high. People were educated. People knew how to, deal with the woman. And sometimes, I think from my perspective, I know that most of the people will blame me or will disagree with me that even the men, the society is so blocked that the men don't know how to interact with the woman. The women don't know how to have an interaction with the men, how to communicate. You know, sometimes I see my male colleagues that they're coming, they're just even instead of saying Ayubi or Najla, they're calling Khala, which is aunt. You know, even I don't want to see that it's very deep in the social structure. But still, what I was talking about, because I was talking about the different fighters are coming. Most of these culture brought to Afghanistan. Like there are circle of the fighters, they're moving from Afghanistan to Syria, from Syria to Iraq, Iraq to any other places. Like we have Afghans moving around, and we have different like Chechenis, Arabs, Saudis, Pakistanis. We have Turkmens, Uzbeks, Tajiks from Tajikistan. All of them are fighting in Afghanistan. And at the same time, they're also moving other places. And you see that this culture brought to us. And at the same time, even if that thing will happen, the rape issue and the rape could be used as a weapon against the society, let's say, then people don't talk about it. We have the case of Kunduz. We heard that there was a rape. They entered to the dorm of the students in the University of Kunduz, but there is no proof. I don't want to say that. And then because of the blame and shame, that's why people are not reporting that. It's so difficult. Even these two channels were reporting this, although they mentioned there is no proof. But that's why they got under the attack of this extremist group as well. You know, it's too complicated.
Hi, my name is Katie Zanoni, and I'm a peace and human rights educator. I'm curious, tonight is the presidential debate for the Democratic Party. If you could ask a question that would help shape the relationship between the U.S. and Afghanistan, what would that question be?
Wow, that's cool. I'm not ready to that. I have to think which one is, we have so many priorities. Which one is the most priority? I think we have the experience of, we have been left alone in 90s. And how much money and the Americans paid, how much blood the Americans gave, which I appreciate as an Afghan. And I am thankful to the people of United States and other, their alliance, that they gave us all of these opportunities. But still, my question would be, do they forget those bloods? The people who are debating, do they forget that bloods? I'm not talking about the money. Money will come and go. But the blood will never, the lives of the people, they will be forgetting of putting all of them on that ground and leaving alone, which we will be, again, maybe next Syria or next Iraq. We don't know. Now things are on that level. I don't know. Everybody's living every day I'm receiving and I'm in alert. In the middle of night when I'm waking up, I'm just checking the news. What is going on? What is coming? And today I just showed to Gabrielle that my sister and my whole family is going to update their passports. You know? Which we never discussed in the 35 years of war in Afghanistan to leave the country. But now I think they're now thinking, and they're asking me, there is possibility for you to stay. And I'm thinking, okay, how? I mean, it's difficult, but at the same time, you don't know what is going on. Who is playing the game? Who is planning? Who is coming? And that's why my question will be definitely that.
Hi, my name's Nancy. I'm a retired Army nurse, and I have a question for you. You know, when we sent in our Marines, we would send in females because they could check the women, but they also started working with the women, health, and all different types of things. Do you have any idea if those groups that the Marines started are still functioning?
I used to give a kind of presentation to most of these newcomers about the cultural issues, how to deal with a woman, even not shaking the hand of women in front of others, or hugging. Okay, of course, it's just another extreme, probably. I think they were functioning in certain places, but because of the withdrawal, I think most of them are not doing anymore, except with the departments of with the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Defense, and National Democratic Security, Department of Security. They are working with these particular female trainees, basically. But on those others, I know what you are talking about because I have seen most of them from Australian government who are also doing the same. Yeah, I know. I don't think so they exist anymore because they shrank their presence now, you know. I think there are now 9,200 or 9,600 people. There is two questions from the side as well.
Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm actually a student here at USD. And I'm kind of just backtracking to what you said about how women have always been victims, and you use the word distractions in the eyes of most extremist groups. And I'm kind of curious why you use the word distractions how is that distracting, or yeah?
As we really distract them. Women distract them. You know, there are different things and factors involved. One is that we are the most vulnerable group that never had our voice loud. And in the past 14, 15 years, particularly after the fall of Taliban, and even before, I was showing to the class where I was talking. I showed my picture within a night how I have been changed from a totally liberal woman, girl, to a totally hijabi woman. Because, you know, that's the situation where they are putting the power on the people who think that, you know, it's a kind of, you know, showing off, you call it showing off. But when they see that the women are enough empowered and they can speak loud, of course you will be distracting them. One point. Another point, of course, because we are coming from a very block society, as I mentioned earlier, the interaction, the communication between a man and a woman, it's too difficult. People don't know how to interact with each other. That's why when you see on that level, of course they think that, okay, you know, this is an opportunity. And trying to, unfortunately, from sexual perspective, you disturb them, you know. When they see them, particularly when they enter to the house and they see that they have a power, they have a weapon, that's why they're abusing that. The second. And the third issue is that they see women as a, I mean, as a, I don't know, as a material, as a material. That's why they see, okay, it's okay, it's okay. But when they see that, okay, you know, even you being seen material, from materialistic perspective, but you have something to say, then of course you're disturbing. Of course they don't like me because I know what I'm saying. This is the reality of, that's why I use that. And I am happy that I'm disturbing them. I am happy. Somehow somebody should disturb them in a way that they should realize, okay, they're not only people into the power, but at least when I have to just add one point that people were not, I agree with me or with us, a women's group, when we were putting the quota for women in the parliament. And then later on, we realized that these women are not, they don't have a high level of commitment to bring the women agenda to the table. And then people were just, women's rights groups and all of them were just, they were making noises. And I said, okay, just keep calm. That's okay. They don't know how to do it. And the second, their presence is enough. Their face is enough because they're sitting the beside of somebody who always suppress, who always pressurized women to push them at home. And now they're sitting side by side, and they're equally, whether it's right or wrong, but they're equally giving the vote. That's another point. I think those are the issues. I'm sorry, I just talked a lot.
Thank you. No, that's fascinating. We have time for one more question, just over here.
Here's also.
Hello, my name is Patricia McCoy, and I'm interested because I've been in government myself on this side of the pond. But the thing that fascinates me about Afghanistan is its history. And I'm thinking the West is so slow to learn, and you've never been defeated. And whatever peace you get, you certainly have earned it. British, the Russians, the US to our cost. We've spent our blood and our treasure over there. And I felt very strongly the power of you, that you have imbued with women through your movement to create peace instead of war. And I just wanted to thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, what we have done, I know that all of, I was asking also, where is the woman place, where the women are. What we do normally, because I know that they are not letting us to go to that hard work, which is the decision making, particularly at the most, military and all of these, that we could mainstream the women agenda in I think a kind of a soft way of putting together strategies. But still, we choose to go for the peace because it's not naturally we are soft. And women are beautiful on their heart and on their face, on their appearance. But still, at the same time, they think softly also. They feel soft. They think soft. That's why we realize that this is the only way that we can do to change, to bring the change, even to the minds of those, they don't know what they are doing, those extremists, how we can change not only by fighting with them, but how we can bring a kind of little bit positive changes and positive thinking on their minds as well.
So Najla, it's been such a privilege, really, for you to share all of this with us and really paint such a complex picture of what's happening in Afghanistan right now, and particularly with women. So I want to thank you for that. And I have one last question for you. Earlier today you said to me, or yesterday you said to me, this, I want to get the words right. You said, among all of this complexity, you have to find your place. So I want to ask you, where is your place in all of this?
I think, I wake up in the middle of night. I go to see the news. I'm here sitting earlier. You were asking me to be ready and put the mics and the stuff, and I was just trying to go to the news, what is going on. I know how I'm struggling and how I got old now and growing up in the war. I think my bones are so soft, become so soft, and I think it's become so kind of, I feel something, not weak, but still, because of the war, I feel, I don't know how to describe it. It's just difficult. But beside of all of these things, I think the only way that you can change people with the love, with the patience, be good with them. I mean, even if they're, I know that earlier I was mentioning that I'm happy to disturb them, to disturb this extremist group, but still, I wanted to just one example, last example, and that may give a more kind of explanation of me where I'm sitting. The people who killed my father, and I used to work with most of them during the constitution making process after the fall of Taliban. And I was not feeling good talking to them and even looking at them. It was so painful because I was thinking, okay, these were the people that they killed my father without reason. But later on I realized, okay, maybe they have their thoughts, which I don't know. I know that maybe even if it's wrong or right, but still they may have their reasons. And then I become to talk to them. And I thought to just have a dialogue and have a discussion. Not, of course, on particular case, which my father case, but still, what is behind of all of these things are happening? What is behind? We have to go to the root and to the causes of all of these uncertainty and all of this, extremist thinking. What is behind? And that's why I choose to be a peacemaker and bringing and channeling the voice of the people to the people and to the policymakers. And I see, and I'm moving towards this one. And even if because people were asking me, do you think it's not dangerous? And I said, okay, what else I have except my life? I will give that to the what it's called, to the road of peace, or for the peace.
Thank you so much, Najla.